Alright, let's do some Bedwars analysis, but really quickly, always got to say hi to your teammate. You know, teammates are so important. They're really... Oh, shit. So now I'm thinking, well, it's just me against 3 other players, so I better get something down on the bed quick. It's not just because 3 other players might rush me and I need a defense, but also the psychology of it makes it sound a lot more big brain than it actually is. But basically, if you see another team's base with no defense at all and 1 player, you're obviously going to target that team because it's an easy win. So because, you know, I'm that 1 player, I obviously didn't want that to happen. So I got the bed defense down quickly and it's all cool and yeah. Also, you might question why I bought the TNT here. It's because I was recording for clips, but then I kind of stopped doing that partway through the game. So this is about where I sort of figured that wasn't going to happen. So here I'm just pausing, taking a view of the surroundings and realizing that every other team's kind of fighting each other and leaving me alone. It's the kind of thing that happens quite a lot if you're on your own because players don't think you're that much of a threat, so they can kind of leave you alone, especially if they're getting rushed by a tryhard team, which Yellow turned out to be. So then naturally I want to maximize my chances as much as possible by getting some emeralds from mid to help me defend my base or take out another base if I need to. Obviously I want to try and avoid that, but you see red bed here goes, and I've got a pretty good idea that Yellow are the strongest team based on the way they're bridging and the fact that they've already destroyed a bed. I actually end up heading back with 4 emeralds. I didn't really need to in the end, but having 4 emeralds is super important because it means I can take out probably pretty easily another team's base if I need to. It also gives me time to pick up a few resources, buy myself iron armor, which is something I should have bought a lot earlier. Now here I make a decision that's quite different from how I'd normally play. I figure that there's a very low chance that I'm going to live through this. And by that I mean, if a team attacks my base, they can probably take it. So what I need to be prepared to do is live the rest of the game without dying again. So that's why I upgrade my tools, so I'm in a position to destroy any beds that I need to do. Then I head back out because I want a few more emeralds, and I see green are coming, and that is never good. Seeing another team coming towards you when you're the only person in your team, and they've got 3 people, is scary. So I run back to my base to try and get myself a few more resources. Now here I just like to do a bit of scouting, you know, keep an eye on green team. I want to see how strong they look. Nothing about them so far has indicated to me that they're like a really strong team, but at the same time, they've held off Yellow for a really long time, so I want to keep an eye on it. But anyway, I decide I probably should get some other resources, seeing as I can't really go for emeralds without fighting them, so diamonds seem like a good bet, particularly as that there's only 1 red player, and if I start building towards green space instead, green might come out and try and fight me, which basically hands Yellow the game. Okay, here is a really key moment. Green's bet goes. That is incredibly scary because then that will mean that there are 3 players from Yellow team bearing down on me as soon as possible, and the red dies too, which means that I desperately need to go and attack Yellow immediately. Because if I don't, then their focus is going to be entirely on me and what I'm up to, and it's going to become so much more difficult. I think there's a bit of general memery in chat here, which slows them down a little bit, but I'm not complaining. I jump off for the maximum ender pearl distance because I don't really know how close I get on these things. And you see I was actually 1 block away from missing that, which could have been key. It didn't end up being because I end up just jumping off here as the Yellow kind of treks back towards mid. I'm thinking, well, they might go for my base. I can't really be allowing that, so I need to be back at base. I'm also trying to be a little meta and use respawn to get an idea of where everyone is in the game, and then quickly buy myself an iron sword to give myself additional firepower and a fireball to hold off any enemies coming towards me. Tried to get an easy kill on that guy, which was maybe a little bit of a misplay, but at this point I'm thinking, well, I can probably do alright in this game, and I just need to get some kills. This was probably my mistake. I got over arrogant, and if Yellow had really wanted to, and they were seriously good players, they could have speed bridged over me while I was wallowing in this hole. Thankfully, they took a bit of time. I made it back up, I think because they were concerned that green would backstab them as they came for me, but they didn't realize that they were kind of just trapped because I wasn't really going anywhere. I did start heading back to my base, but only to lull them in, and then I wanted to fight them away from it because I knew I had the minor fatigue trap. What ended up happening is I actually hit him onto my base, which was a colossal misplay, but for some reason Yellow ran away, I think because they wanted to actually win the game. If it had been me, I probably would have been a bit more salty and try and kill their bed instead. I got incredibly lucky here. Let's be clear, that was not skill. That was entirely me buying a fireball at the right time. And then yes, okay, there was skill in the way I aimed it, slightly, if you can count that at all. But yeah, I got lucky, and then I noticed the Yellow, and I try and finish them off because I'm pretty sure they're my main threat at that point. There are 2 greens remaining, so I'm still a little concerned, but I think I've got a bit of time, and I've got 6 emeralds now, so I can do a lot with that. And in classic Fire Nova fashion, what ends up happening is I actually buy a punch bow. At this point, I consider myself in a pretty strong situation, especially because I've just spotted the 2 greens and I have a bow to hold them off. I just use that. Don't really want to take any chances. I know the back one can be hit off if he jumps up at the right time, so I'm waiting for that and not really focusing on the other one. I get them off, and then it's just a matter of just knocking this person back again and again and again. I'm sorry to do this to you, green, but unfortunately, this is the end for you, my master. And so it is. Overall, I'd say this game went pretty well. There were a few misplays here and there, but in general, this was one of my better games. I thought it'd be a nice one to showcase. I don't really know if this is a series I'll do, but it was just something different that I thought of, and maybe I could analyze your guys' ones, but we'll just see.